Today is October 27, 2023, and this is your Friday planning video. I usually start with the Happy Friday opening, but I have to admit it's hard. Yes, we must find happiness, but my heart remains heavy with the war going on. I'll just say this one thing. The war is not new, but it is at the highest level we've seen in a while. It is being fought all over the world, not just in the Middle East. It's there, it's college campuses, it's even here in Skokie. This is good versus evil and a war against hate. I pray that those fighting for the good and against hate are successful and peace comes to the world soon. At times like this, as I've mentioned a few times in the past weeks, it's hard to focus on the economics, but that's what we do, so that's where I'll go. As you can probably see, I'm back here in the United States, physically at least. My heart and my thoughts remain in Israel with the Israeli people and the IDF. In my time in Israel, as with many of you when you travel, I had spent money on a lot of goods and services. What I want to revisit today is some new data on an old topic. Credit cards versus cash and how the spending goes. I'll also touch on the holy grail to some, credit card rewards. So we've spoken about the study that showed you spent more if you used credit cards than cash, but there was recently a study by GoBankingRates.com that had 3 professionals use cash only for some time, some for a year, some for 6 months. Here are a few of the findings and hints that they shared. Before I get started, this is very important. I just had this discussion with some clients yesterday. This is not a blanket indictment of credit cards, and this is not to say this is wrong for everyone. The key is knowledge is power. So if you know, you can make the best choices for you. The first finding was there was less impulse buying, less temptation. One of the participants who only made it for a month actually said that the handing over physical money made each purchase feel more significant. Another participant who actually made it for a full year said that as you see physical bills leave your wallet, it makes you more mindful. Let's also talk about budgeting. This is a downside to cash. In the opinion of a few of the participants, as I've spoken about, my key to budgeting is knowing where your money's going and keeping accurate records. This is done for you with credit cards. Now, most people don't check as carefully as they should their statements, but it is there. Doing this with cash is much harder. There is the envelope system where you put the cash for each category in an envelope and use it from there. That makes it better, but it's still hard to track. So if you're going to use more cash, you should come up with a simple way to track it. Back to the positive side of findings, no interest charges or bank or card fees on the cash. And you may even get a discount for cash. Not too many places do it, but you never know. This is a big deal since so much of the news these days is on the $1 trillion plus credit card debt that consumers are racking up. And with that comes high interest. So not so if you're going to use cash. Keeping to the back and forth to balance it out, there's a limited buying power with cash only plan. Yes, you can only buy what you can afford. I know, revolutionary concept. But just as revolutionary is the proper use of leverage or debt, so this can be right for some, but cash does not always allow for that. The last item that that coveted credit score. Using cash does not improve your credit score since you're not using credit. This is notable and it's something to take into account. As I mentioned a moment ago, you also often get discounts for cash, or more likely, you're going to pay a surcharge for using a credit card. There are a lot of places, but let me suggest 5 that you may encounter. College tuition costs. And we all know how big these numbers are. They often carry a 2 to 3% surcharge. The law of large numbers comes into play here. A 2.5% surcharge on a $10,000 payment is $250, and that adds up quickly. It's also true in doctor's offices, some surcharges as high as 4%. Any government offices, the DMV, paying tickets or utilities, often 2 to 3% as well. And one that you have to look for, as I read, said it was still true, but at gas stations, you may recall there's always been a cash price and a credit price. This may be worth your own research, but it is something that they say still is around. Finally, the IRS, yes, taxes. A number of years ago, they started taking credit card payments for your taxes, local and federal. Add 4% in most cases using a credit card. By the way, I'm not suggesting taking a bag of cash to the DMV. Using debit or electronic checks is most often the same. Okay, the last elephant in the room, the rewards for using your cards. First, while talking about fees, remember that $10,000 fee for tuition, $250 benefit or cost. The real question is that $250 worth more to you than the 10,000 points that you'll get on your credit card? You'll need to check the math on that and see. Lastly, and it may not matter much, leave it to Congress to pass a law that seems to help, and the law of unintended consequences. Go from doing good to doing bad. That's what the Durbin Amendment to the Dodd-Frank bill post-Great Recession did. This capped the fees that banks could make from debit transactions. Seems good, yes? No. The profit that banks were using from that was what funded the debit card rewards program. Thus, No more credit card rewards debit card rewards after that, excuse me. The new law being discussed, Credit Card Competition Act, also sounds good. Capping the credit card fees that retailers have to pay. And yes, follow that through. The profits that those fees bring in, they fund the rewards programs that you use. There's nothing solid yet, and who knows where this will go. Yes, fees that you pay at the register may go away, but at what cost? Okay, that's all for today. I'll be back on Monday with a market update for this week's market. As always, please keep in touch. Let me know when we can talk about how the goals look as we come to the end of 2023. This is the last Friday video before November hits. So have a great weekend, and please continue to pray for peace.